Demetrious Johnson is the UFC's flyweight champion, and is riding a 12-fight win streak, something only 3 other fighters in history have accomplished. Jerry Carmen PNG. Hello, old friends. After a couple events where I was on vacation, and actually taking a vacation, not on vacation where I still ride every day and the people I'm with hate me, it's time to get back to making fight picks. UFC 216 is a good card top to bottom, but one that hasn't generated a ton of pre-fight interest and won't do any great shakes on pay-per-view this weekend, which is too bad because there are a bunch of solid prospects and interesting ascending fighters hitting the cage to go along with the 2 championship fights that will close out the card. If you don't want to add to your cable bill for this one, you should definitely check it out at your local because it should be fun from start to finish. Here are my picks. These are the punch-drunk predictions. Tony Ferguson vs. Kevin Lee. I love this fight and I want to say up front that I think it could go either way. I've been saying for the last couple weeks that Lee reminds me of Cody Garbrandt when he rocketed up the bantamweight ranks and finished last year with a breathtaking performance against Dominic Cruz, and I can see the 24-year-old upstart doing the same here against Ferguson. Having said that, I'm picking Ferguson. For me, the former Ultimate Fighter winner is more seasoned, more savvy and more gritty. He's faced and beaten much better competition, has a more diverse and varied arsenal, and has exhibited the kind of toughness that often separates great fighters from good fighters. He's not a guy who is going to be broken or get down on the cards and suddenly start fighting not to get finished. My thinking is Ferguson presses forward as he always does, forcing Lee to be more defensive than he's been in his last several fights. After a couple close rounds, I think Ferguson will start to distance himself in the 3rd, 4th and 5th to win a unanimous decision. Prediction: Tony Ferguson. Demetrious Johnson vs. Ray Borg. Borg is far better than most people understand, and he'll be a contender for years to come, but he's going to get waxed here. Johnson is the best fighter on the planet and has no real holes, so, while I think Borg is the most well-rounded and balanced fighter Johnson has faced outside of Joseph Benavidez, I still believe the gap between the two is ginormous and Mighty Mouse will once again demonstrate his dominance. Prediction: Demetrious Johnson. Fabricio Werdum vs. Derek Lewis. This one is really interesting to me because Werdum didn't look great in losing his rubber match to Alistair Overeem just a couple months ago, and while Lewis is also coming off a loss and has a limited skill set, he's also a massive human being with vicious power who can stop a fight at any moment. As much as Werdum is the significantly more experienced, more talented fighter on paper, something about this matchup, and his media day shouting match with Ferguson in Los Angeles, makes me think we'll see a slightly distracted, somewhat fading version of the former heavyweight champion catch a bomb and get slipped. Lewis is tough to put away, packs a wallop and will fire something off that surprises Werdum and knocks him out, probably fairly early into the fight. Call me crazy, but I'm calling the upset. Prediction: Derek Lewis. Romelo Borella vs. Kalindra Faria. A Latino addition to the card. After the bout between Paige VanZant and Jessica I was pulled and Andrea KGB Lee was disqualified from facing Faria. This is actually a solid fight for the new women's flyweight division, but it's in a tough spot and people see it simply as a what the hell bout in the middle of a pay-per-view main card. Borella is coming off a split decision win over Milana Dudieva in Invicta FC and is unbeaten in her last 6, while Faria has only lost twice in the last 6 years, both times to elite strawweights. Both should be fixtures in the division once it gets up and rolling 100%, and the winner of this one will have a solid head start on some of the athletes competing on season 26 of The Ultimate Fighter. As much as Faria not having fought since last September worries me a little, I think she's the more experienced fighter and believe that will make all the difference here. She's been in big spots before, admittedly on the regional circuit, and had a couple extra days to get ready for this one. Prediction: Kalindra Faria. Beneil Dariush vs. Evan Denham. This is a terrific fight and should be a really fun way to kick off the main card. Dariush is fighting for the first time since getting iced by Edson Barboza, while Denham enters on a 4-fight winning streak, the longest since the start of his UFC tenure. Both are excellent grapplers, but the difference here will be how well Dariush is able to do in the stand-up. His striking has come along in recent years, but the southpaw Denham has a great jab and does a very good job of throwing combinations. If Benny can't figure it out or find a way to make this a grappling match, he's in trouble. I think this will end up looking a lot like Denham's win over Joe Lozano, a one-sided technical striking display where he stifles Dariush's advances and wins on the cards. Prediction: Evan Denham. Preliminary card picks: Tom DeCanoid F. Cody Stamann. Will Brooks Def. Nick Lentz. Lando Vannata Def. Bobby Green. Pearl Gonzalez Def. Poliana Botello.